Working in retail is never easy, especially when you have to deal with a bunch of crazies. Welcome to this episode of Tales from Retail. Our first tale is from Me Iacomas. I work for a suit rental company. We ship out garments to arrive with plenty of time for customers to contact us with fit issues, color discrepancies, satisfaction issues, etc. If an issue is communicated, we can get the customer taken care of. While we appreciate communication as soon as possible, we have even assisted customers with issues with tight timelines, including overnighting orders and replacements if necessary. I had a wedding couple contact us a week after their event, demanding a refund for everyone in their party due to one of the members receiving the wrong suit. The member of the party that got the wrong color did not contact us. In fact, he apparently didn't try anything on until the day of the event. The couple complained about wrinkled garments, fit issues with many of the party members, and of course, the wrong colored suit being sent. Originally, the wedding couple had the color that the groomsmen received selected, but changed their mind during the process and selected a different color. There may have been some technical issues on our side regarding that change, but again, none of this was communicated and done by the wedding couple online. The couple continued to cuss me out, stating that we ruined their wedding pictures, and the pictures would just be a reminder of how our company effed up their wedding. They also mentioned, dudes aren't going to check stuff beforehand, this isn't our problem. Due to the level of communication we received, none, I was unable to offer a full refund for them. They demanded to receive more communication from above me, but I couldn't promise anything. They threatened to ruin my life and the company's if I didn't assist them. I tried to reassure them that any communication would have resulted in us helping them, but it just kept going back and forth. Anyone else work in the wedding industry? Let me know how many weddings you've ruined or how you've ruined someone's wedding. I feel like the only people who ruined their wedding was the couple themselves, because if they didn't make sure that all of their guests checked all of the things that they had received to ensure everything was correct, that kind of falls on them. They failed to communicate with their own guests. Our next tale is by NoWriter8414. Years ago, I worked at the biggest gas station in the state of Connecticut. Had the job for almost 10 years. I got all sorts of stories. One that I always remember was this old man. Now, if you used your credit or debit card at the pump 3 times in 48 hours, it wouldn't work at the pump any longer for security reasons, but it would work inside, in case someone stole your card and was on a spree, I guess. It was always old people that would stick their card in unaware it was accepted 3 times in a row and didn't realize the pump was ready cause it wouldn't let you select your grade of gas until you picked the nozzle up. This always confused people. Anyways, this guy comes in, he's probably in his 90s, walking with a cane, and he looks pissed. He asks why his card isn't working. I attempt to explain to him. Always the same response. But I haven't used it 3 times in 48 hours. I respond, yes, you just inserted it 3 times in a row and this will lock you out. At this point I say, how much gas do you want? He says, I want to fill it. All older people want to do is fill their tanks, which is fine. So I explain how he can leave the card with me and I can let him fill his tank. He's freaking out at this point because he says he can't be walking back and forth because he's handicapped. And I say, it's not my fault, sir. He says, yes it is, you work here. He then asks for the manager. I tell him I am the manager, even though I'm not. Then he storms to the back of the store, looking for a manager. My assistant manager was actually stocking the cooler. But even if he did find him, Bill wouldn't have given him the time of day. I yell out, you can't be walking back and forth like this, you're handicapped. The guy got so angry, he didn't even know what to do with himself. He ended up leaving after totally losing it. I don't even remember what he said. He was just so angry. Out of the hundreds of thousands of customers I rang out, I remember him the most for some reason. I averaged 400 transactions a day. Retail sucks. I would have maybe felt bad for this guy because I could tell he was having difficulty walking, but man, was he a jerk. So that went right out the window. I have a brother with a mobile disability and he approved. I mean, I like how you called out that he can't be walking back and forth when he tried to use that as an argument on why he couldn't just leave the card, let you pump the gas, and him come get it. I hope he learned his lesson. And our final tale is from Gorguff62. I'm working the service desk at a grocery store. At my store, we do Western Union money services at the desk, where someone can send or receive money to or from somewhere else. I'm in the middle of doing one Western Union transaction when the guy for this story comes in and gets in line. Before I even start helping him, the guy threw a tantrum over the fact that another customer was waiting by the lottery machine instead of waiting behind him. The guy by the lottery said he knew the Western Union guy was first, so I'm thinking to myself, this is gonna be a fun one. I finish the transaction I'm in the middle of, and the guy comes up to the desk. He says he's here to pick up Western Union and hands me a piece of paper with the money transfer number, the number used to look up Western Union transactions, and the amount he's picking up. He's picking up $7,500. I turn to my front-end manager, who's also standing behind the desk, and ask him if I'm even allowed to do that kind of transaction since I've never had one that big before. He texts our bookkeeper to find out and also opens up the register where we keep the bulk of the money and starts counting to see if there's enough in there. I had already done a number of big Western Union transactions earlier that day. I take the paper with the transfer number and type it into the computer. There's no transactions under that number. I look at the paper and ask for clarity on a couple of the numbers since the handwriting wasn't great. I try again, and once again, no transactions come up. As I'm doing that, my manager says there's not enough in the drawer. The guy starts arguing with both of us, saying to me the number he was given came from Western Union, and he's had it for 3 days, and saying to my manager that Western Union told him he could pick up the money here. I tell him if the number is not in the system, there's nothing I can do about it, and he has to call Western Union. My manager tells him that while we do Western Union services, that doesn't mean we're going to have big amounts of cash just lying around. The guy eventually gave up and left. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not familiar with how the Western Union, wiring money works because I've never really had to do it, but I would think that a grocery store probably doesn't have over $5,000 in cash sitting available to be paid out. I could be wrong, but I would just think a grocery store would have a lower amount than if you actually went to, I'm assuming, an official location if they even have those. Alright, that's enough tales for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Tales from Retail. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload. And drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons, have a great day and stay safe out there.